Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? This School of Hard Knocks with Freddie G. Another episode, another stream, man. This Thursday night, Thursday night stream. Just collecting on a few stories, man. We ain't finna stay on here long, like I always say, but end up staying however long. But uh, this little going over college football tonight. There was some more information on Archie Manning. They said it like I stated earlier. He was They said he had not practiced on Wednesday, but Thursday there was a report that he was at practice. But they're still gonna do he's still in the concussion protocol, and they're gonna do more. They're gonna get more information tomorrow night, and also 90 minutes before kickoff. So that that in itself kind of puts him as doubtful, questionable. Not too sure, but if not, they would have to go with the backup quarterback, which I think he's a journeyman. He's a senior quarterback, so I think he know what he's doing. So, but this whole matchup between Texas and Vanderbilt, I think what's kind of intriguing is last week Vanderbilt held got held by Missouri. They only had like 265 yards if I ain't mistaken. So they kind of was like kept in check. So I mean, it was kind of like shocking. But also Texas, they have trouble running the ball. So with but they also have a great defense. Like their front seven is an elite. And I think that's what's probably going to overwhelm Vanderbilt. So I think I probably got Texas over Vanderbilt only because Texas, to me, well, I mean, look, like Vanderbilt, like hot, like playing style, Vanderbilt is more of a rush, like run the ball deep, like offense. Um, in Texas, even though they played Mississippi State last week and struggled, Mississippi State, their offense is completely different than Vanderbilt's offense because Mississippi State, they're kind of like an air raid offense. Like they like to throw the ball and whatnot. While as Vanderbilt, they're kind of more like Oklahoma in a sense or similar. So Texas probably got an advantage over that. Um, so I think it's still gonna be a good game. I got Texas 20, Vanderbilt 17. It's gonna be a close game, but they got to maintain Diego and the running back because, like I said, if they explode and they get hot, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to stop them and contain them. So this is not the team you want to do that with. So and Texas pretty much got their back against the wall. They need they need this win more than Vanderbilt. So I think Texas gonna come out and do the job. But if not, it's pretty much over for them. They're not gonna make the playoffs. So that's gonna be an intriguing game. Tennessee, Tennessee versus Oklahoma. That game is also gonna be kind of interesting because it's gonna be the only game that's gonna be played in Neyland Stadium at night, and that environment, much like Alabama, is crazy and energetic. So it's gonna be kind of hard playing in that environment. It's gonna be Oklahoma's like first time playing in Tennessee, so it's gonna be kind of intriguing how. And look, Tennessee don't have a good defense, but they got a great offense. And Joey Aguilar, I can't even say his name. Joey Aguilar, he's a good quarterback when it comes down to it. And Oklahoma, I'm gonna say this again, man. Like I don't think that quarterback he ain't all the way healthy. Like he ain't healed from his surgery or whatnot. So and Oklahoma's not a good running the ball team. So they got a good defense, but that's really about it. You know, it's gonna be kind of hard for Oklahoma to overcome that. So I got Tennessee. I got Tennessee probably 28, Oklahoma 20, somewhere around that. But yeah, Tennessee, man, it's just a hard environment to play at. I'm just going. That's why we ain't won there in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's hard. So, but look, and this another game that's SEC that I'm kind of looking forward to. I mean, not as much, but it's still a good SEC game. It's Georgia and Florida. Um, Florida got a chance to upset Georgia. You know, they got a chance. I ain't gonna say they are, but they got a chance. It's just that Georgia, they like to make halftime adjustments so consistently. And then I told you, you don't want to get caught up in the end. You know, they can afford one more loss and still make the playoffs. But they still got to play. They still got to play Georgia Tech. You know, they still got to play Georgia Tech, and that's they undefeated right now. And they a good team. They're in the top 10. You know, last year they took them to overtime. So that's gonna be a good game. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. And I think Georgia's need to handle business. Like I want Georgia to make the playoffs, but I don't want them to slip up in any case scenario at all. So um Georgia and Florida, I think DJ most likely what he probably gonna have to do. He might have to use his legs uh on this because Georgia, like they got their front line, their defensive front line. I think this is the first game where they all like every single like defensive lineman is healthy. So it's gonna be kind of hard to see what Florida could do. I think the best case scenario, like I said, they're gonna have to do something. I mean, because like if they could throw the ball, I don't think Georgia got good secondary. Their secondary is not that good at all. But you can't become too predictable by any means. So, but I think I got Georgia, but I do put them on upset alert for sure. For sure. And speaking of that, another former Georgia quarterback, Carson Beck, and the Miami Hurricanes, they play SMU this week. And SMU, they just like last year they made the playoffs. They lost the conference final game and made it still. So they having a tough year because they lost to Wake Forest. They lost a couple of games this year. But I think they still like a decent team. Now, Miami, they could make Miami stress a little bit. Cause even though SMU don't have a good defense, they like to get after a quarterback. Like that, they like to go after a quarterback. You know, they're not afraid to send like rush. They got a decent rush defense. And Carson Beck, you can see how many like he had threw how many interceptions so far this season. He threw 7 interceptions and probably have roughly around 12 touchdowns. So he about what for what? Like he just like a Jameis Winston of college football right now, having almost 12 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He's kind of reverting back to like how he was last year in Georgia. So I mean, if you could like put a lot of pressure on Carson Beck, like man, that team could like man, it's just like when they lost to Louisville. So I really want to pick SMU. I'm not too sure. But I put Miami on the upset alert. I definitely do. I definitely do. So we got Ohio State, the fraudulent champions. They got a weak, lame schedule. They don't play nobody, but I'm gonna give them credit for, I guess, for the time being. But they playing Penn State. You know, Penn State they fired James Franklin, Big James, a couple weeks ago. Having 4 losses this season. What a fall from grace they've had. It was at number 2, not even a month and a half ago. Now they just out of everything. But look, Brian Day, he been on the road. Ohio State, especially their fans, they've been coming a lot of vote. They've been getting a lot of vocal, becoming a lot more vocal lately. Which they should. They the champions. They the reigning champions. You should talk your shit. But like they started to say anything. Man, y'all ain't beat y'all rival in the last 5 to 6 years. Y'all haven't beat your rival in the last 5 to 6 years. So I don't want to hear it. But about this game, you got Ohio State and Penn State. Now on paper, this is like beginning of the season. This will be like a great matchup. But now, due to the circumstances that is at hold, a lot of people are penciling in Ohio State beating Penn State. But I think Penn State ain't got nothing to lose. I think they're still a good team. Like this, basically, still the same team that went to the playoffs last year. I think they can. They got a chance. They got a chance to beat Ohio State. I ain't gonna say they can. Just like I said with every other team, they got a chance to beat Ohio State. Don't mean they're gonna do it, but they're a decent team. I think they still got the players from last year, or at least key players. Now they don't have their quarterback, but he's out for the season. But at the same time, you got to work with what you got. You know, that's why you never know when a team. It's like when we had Tua got hurt, and we had Jalen, we had Matt. Like we had a great quarterback room. It's always next man up. It's next man up with everything. You know, that's what we do. We don't rebuild, we reload. But going as far as with the whole Ohio State and Penn State game, I think I got Ohio State by 10 points. So yeah, that's that. But no, I don't want to think. I don't want them to think they could beat their chest over that. Like that's cute. But anyway, yeah, man. As far as with Alabama, um, be on the bye week this week. I hope we get to rest our injuries. You know, any injuries that we having on the team, and hopefully we going over a lot of schemes, a lot of practice. We gotta get better on the running the ball, like our offense. Like offense clicking. Like I said before, we got one of the deepest wide receiver rooms, period, right now. And our quarterback is the I'd say the front runner in the Heisman vote. Should be. Because he's been winning games at miraculous levels, making big plays every game the last 8 games. There's no quarterback other like that right now. You could say Ohio State quarterback, you could say Diego, but no, they're not out here doing what Todd Simpson's doing. Not at this level. So I think we just need to go over a lot of run offense. Defense, I just need them to stay consistent. They've been doing a great job the last 2 or 3 games. Gotta give credit to Kane Womack. He's doing this thing. They gotta stay consistent, and I want them to become more aggressive. You know, that's what I would like to see. Um, get this rest. We go play the second half of the gauntlet. We gotta go to we don't gotta go to LSU. LSU come to us, and you don't know what their scheme is, or a new scheme, or coach, until you just gotta play the game. And it's a rivalry game, and we're not gonna play LSU for a good minute because they're not gonna be on our schedule for a while, which is crazy. But you know, it is what it is, man. So that's it for the college football. Now look, the other night I forgot to go over this the verses between No Limit and Cash Money. Now it was a good, like, for what it was good. Um the audience, I don't think they was like as live as they should have been. I think Age showed a lot in that, but it's still 2 legendary labels from the South. You know. Now if it was held in New Orleans, like I said, like in their hometown, it'd been different. I think it would have been a lot more lit, for sure. But I think for what it was, they worked with what they had, and it was pretty hard. You know, there's a lot of songs that I had to go back to, like, man. Now I'm 28, about to be 29 in January. A lot of those songs came out, I was just like probably still in diapers pretty much. But Man, I got aunties, uncles, and cousins that play a lot of them songs that I ride with. That I still bump on both sides. So with that, I think the only thing, man, I wish Wayne and Turk would have been there, and Birdman had something to say about Turk at the end, which I ain't gonna highlight the negatives, but man, I think it would probably it would have been a lot better if it was in New Orleans and Wayne and Turk was there, for sure. It probably would have been a lot more better, but it was good for what it was though. Gotta give it that. Juvenile, he was on fire, no pun intended. Maya X, she did her thing, It was good to see Silk. It was good to see Master P. Good to see BG. No, all of them, all of those great artists. Birdman, the Big Tom Stunners. Like, man, it's like a throwback, big throwback. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it tonight, man. With the 16-minute mark, going on 17. Might put back up tomorrow, do episode. Not too sure, but this Freddie G, School of Hard Knocks. Peace.